7 p.m. Monday, September 17th, 2018. Call the regular meeting of Waverly City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Bergen.
Here.
Rinkow.
Present.
Angus.
Present.
McKenzie.
Here.
Rothy.
Here.
Waldstein. Here. And Scherer is absent.
Chair is absent, and our guest council person, Lynn Wingo, has got another obligation this evening, so he will not be here. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, public comments on items not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to about 5 minutes unless you need additional time. Is there anyone here that?
I do.
Yes, if you would step up to the mic, state your name and address.
My name is Judy Reynolds, and my address is 1912 Bremer Parkway, Waverly, Iowa, 50677. I had an issue with a neighbor, and he not only called me vulgar words, but he threatened to bash my face in. And he had a broom. His wife called him back in the garage. I called the police, and this was over me offering his children a pumpkin. In my opinion, the police should have did more than what they did. They went over and talked to him, and I think he should have been taken to the hospital for a mental health evaluation, or he should have been arrested.
Okay, are there any replies to Ms. Reynolds' comments?
I stayed in Waverly after I moved out of the country. I lived out in the country and I moved into town because I felt Waverly was a safe community. I no longer feel that way.
Mayor, the only thing I think I'll say is that clearly there's more to the story. Each time Ms. Reynolds is called in, I've addressed and talked to her. I don't know if it's something that you want to get into a discussion in open forum about in this public setting.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
The only thing that's more to the story is the man was mad because my little dog, who's very tiny, was barking in the backyard when he was outside with his small child. The police addressed me about it, and then I kept him in. Every time I see that they're out in their backyard, I make sure my dog comes back in. And I've also apologized to him, or tried to apologize.
okay.
He won't accept the apology. In the minimum, I expect an apology from him. Or I also believe his landlord needs to go to his landlord and, maybe even evict him or fine the landlord. I'm not going to be threatened like that.
Okay. You and I had a conversation late Friday afternoon, and I did visit with a police officer. It happened to be this morning before they got back to me. And my fault, I'm not that familiar with the phone system at the police station, so I didn't go the direction I should have. But we talked about it, and I think we all had an understanding that they're well aware of the situation and are going to keep an eye on what's going on up there. And that's about the extent that we can do at this point.
To me, that's not good enough. I also got a call from one of your officers this morning saying I put something on his truck. I did not.
This is a little bit to the more of the story. So evidently Mrs. Reynolds believes that he needs a mental health evaluation, and somehow this over weekend, the only vehicle that had a mental health pamphlet flyer placed on it on private property was this gentleman's. And so an officer went over and addressed it and asked, if you did it, please stay away. Just like we asked you before, stay away from each other, be neighborly. Okay. And so it was a legitimate follow-up.
Very good, thank you.
It was a phone call that I received before 6 o'clock in the morning.
call came in.
So we don't want anything violent to happen, obviously.
No, but do we
until-
need to wait until something does?
We'll just have to monitor the situation and try and figure out where to go. And again, we have dealt, the police chief and I and the city administrator have dealt with some of those things before. And hopefully we can.
There's
get them
no
on.
reason for this whatsoever. I've talked with his wife. His wife is a very nice lady. We've stopped and had conversations on the road when she's been strolling her child. There's no reason for this man to treat me this way.
Well, we're now all aware of the situation, so
Right.
I don't want to dismiss you, obviously, very bad, but I think we're not sure that there's any other thing for discussion at this point, so. Police chief,
Right.
police
Something,
department,
if something happens, you've all been informed.
we understand that. Thank you. Anyone else have some comments they would like to speak to the council about? Seeing none, moving on. Consent calendar consists of the following items: Class C liquor license for East Bremer Diner, Class C liquor license for The Other Place 2, Class B native wine permit for Meyer Pharmacy, and the cash disbursements for August 2018.
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion, questions? Brian, I assume that you read through all of that lengthy cash disbursements.
I skimmed it.
Very good. Then, all those in favor of the consent calendar say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Consent calendar approved. Regular business, Resolution 18-136. Resolution approving the street finance report for fiscal year 2017-18. I'd entertain a motion.
I move approval of Resolution 18-136, a resolution approving the street finance report for fiscal year 2017-18.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion? Questions for,
Is there supposed to be more to this report? Because I see page 1, and it says 1 of 9. And can someone enlighten me if what I'm looking at?
What are you concerned about? There's the cover sheet is one,
Right.
then you have the summary statement.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing.
Only the first page is on the system,
We have one.
unfortunately.
I believe I put it on the P drive to be,
I was thinking that I saw it on the agenda manager this morning when I looked.
It's just showing the top page as best as I can tell.
It was accurate on the P drive. There are about 9 pages to the total report. I don't know if you have the report with you, Jennifer.
I do.
You could walk through on the overhead quickly. We'll see if there's any questions or concerns from council. It'd be good to have that overview as well.
do you have this page?
Nope.
Oh, so you only, okay. This is the cover page, and it's a summary of all our funds that we have.
Other way. There you go. Keep going. Right there.
That's good.
Learning how to use the zoom in and zoom out 101. This is a summary statement, and column 1 is the road use tax funds. Column 2 is for other streets funds that may come from the general funds. And then there's a street debt that we have to pay every year, and it just summarizes it and gives you totals down on the bottom.
For the public, this is the report we have to submit to the state basically to justify the road use tax funds that we get.
Correct, and if we don't submit it by December 1st, we won't receive any street revenue funds until we do submit it.
We're hoping to send it early and see if we'll get more. I don't think it's going to happen,
So
but
optimistic.
it's worth a shot, you know.
Page 3 is your miscellaneous revenues that we have, and they're identified. You have your state funds. That is for, comes from the state for the road taxes. License and permits that we get, reimbursements, other miscellaneous, sales tax, local option sales tax that we transfer to it, general fund transfers that, and this could be from capital improvement funds that has money that left over that we transfer to it. Page 4 shows the general obligation bonds that we pay for, paid for the year, and it lists them individually. And not all of the bonds usually are totally for road use tax or road funds, so there's a percentage that gets paid to it. Page 5 is for project final costs when we do finish a project, that can be entered there. That doesn't happen every year. Then page 7 is the road equipment we have. 8, if there's any explanations for why expenses or revenues may have changed. And page 9 is actually what we have received from the state for road use tax funds.
Very good. Any questions for Jennifer? Thank you very much for
Thank you.
walking us through that.
Can we get a copy of that somehow?
Absolutely.
Yes. First thing in the morning.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I'm just assuming there isn't anything in that report that would need to be highlighted or that is any way, anything that's remarkable. It's just basically a standard kind of report. We're sending it out so the state knows what we're doing. There's really not anything that needs to be necessarily highlighted.
No, it is a typical, just, they want to know that we're doing it. They want us to make sure we're accounting for the funds, and this is a way of showing them that they're accounted for. And that's one reason why they have the one column specifically for the road use tax. That way it's all together. You can see exactly what's being spent there.
Very good.
Good.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, comments, roll call vote, please.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Angus.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Those opposed? Resolution 18-136, approving the street finance report, approved. Resolution 18-137, a resolution approving the bid from Crystal Heating and Plumbing of Waverly, Iowa for the storage building demolition and tree removal for the South Riverside Park Improvement Project. Entertain a motion.
I'll move Resolution 18-137, a resolution approving the bid of $17,650 from Crystal Heating and Plumbing of Waverly, Iowa for the storage building demolition and tree removal for the South Riverside Park Improvement Project.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Tab, would you like to enlighten us on the bids, or, because I questioned what it covered this morning, seeing such a discrepancy between $100,000 budgeted and a bid of a little over 17.
Well, we are very happy with these bids, to say the least. Basically, the estimate was based upon an unknown. We didn't know if there was going to be lots of asbestos and that sort of thing in the storage building. So we were pleased when that came back after being inspected for $2,000, that we only had to pay about $2,000 for the mitigation of the building. That could have been several $1,000s. Secondly, is we've had instances where it's $1,000 a tree to remove trees, and the tree bid came in as well. So we're very pleased with this bid.
Good. Any other questions, comments?
How will this affect the farmer's market? Are they still going to be going, they're going to have to stop season early, or is this going to take place after the farmer's market's done?
This is scheduled to start potentially next week. I have not talked to the contractor yet because we're going to get it approved before that to find out what his start date is. I think they can live together.
Okay.
The farmers markets in the evenings and on Saturday mornings, so I think they'll be able to work together. We can move the farmers market farther south as well, like we did when we had the garden club event there.
And Tab, they're going to leave the rim of the foundation of that building?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Well, mine would be just in general on the South Riverside Park project. Now with the cleaners going out in the depot there as a historic depot, I know the Historic Preservation Commission has talked a little bit about that. Is that something that could be put in the project, looking at savings that we had here? Is that a thought process with that?
If there's an opportunity, we can probably look at that.
We'd have to see, this is bond money, we'd have to see when we bonded what the description was of the project list, it could be done. If it was additional vegetation clearing, that would be acceptable since it's similar to what we have. But if it's anything towards the renovation of that project, we'd have to make sure the bond attorneys are okay with the resolution, that the language is consistent, or we'd have to maybe do additional paperwork or look at using the additional funds to pay down debt instead. But we can certainly look at that. It's just a matter of making sure that we don't do something before they say we can, especially because it's bond money.
It's just, as a historic building, and I know when we first looked at the project, that was, and it still is all privately owned, but it was a private business at the time, so there wasn't probably any thought to even doing anything with it. But now there's possibility that could be helpful. And it would be part of that park, the history of that park.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
Motion 18, Resolution 18-137 carried. Resolution 18-138, a resolution approving the bid from Matt Construction of Sumner, Iowa for the concrete curb and surface construction for Coleman Park's play unit and swings. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 18-138, a resolution approving the bid of $33,332.30 from Matt Construction of Sumner, Iowa for the concrete curb and surface construction for Coleman Park's play units and swings.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council questions, comments? Tab, do you have some?
Sure. Total for this project is $13,000 over budget. We're hoping to find some additional capital improvement funds, since that's where this money's coming out of, in order to finish the project. I've tried to talk very nicely to Jennifer, and she's so far cooperating. We use the engineering department here at the city to help us put plans and specs together, because this is kind of a complicated concrete project. We had the poured surface bid already done, the $49,000, and after they had done the specs according to the company's suggestions, which the company wasn't very much help at all, the bid came in just like $1,000 under what their estimate was. So we kind of expected it to be higher than what we thought.
Okay.
It's another possibility with the funds we were just talking about. Since it's a park, it may be a related item, so we're going to have to look into that and see. Otherwise, we will look for a project to not do or equipment to not purchase in order to finish this out.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Kangas?
Yes.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Resolution 18-138 carried, vote of 6-0. First reading of ordinance 1051, an ordinance providing for rezoning of property owned by Renee Lloyd located at 806 12th Street Southeast, parcel CC of parcel T and parcel HH of parcel CC from A1 Agriculture to R1 Single Family Residential and setting a public hearing. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of the first reading of ordinance 1051, an ordinance providing for rezoning of property owned by Renee Loy, located at 806 12th Street Southeast, parcel CC of parcel T and parcel HH of parcel CC, from A1 agricultural to R1 single-family residential, and setting October 1st, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall as the date, time, and place for a public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Angus?
Yes.
I'd just like to ask one thing. If when we bring it back for the second reading, is there an objection to having it be waive the third and do the paperwork that way?
I don't anticipate it.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Thanks.
think that would be, for what it is, I think it would be suitable. First reading of ordinance 1051 carried. Resolution 1819, a resolution adopting updates for the City of Waverly Employee Handbook. Entertain a motion.
I'll move Resolution 18-19, a resolution adopting updates for the City of Waverly Employee Handbook.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion.
I would just like to say, I think that the handbook, I think the people that worked on the handbook did an excellent job. It's very detailed, it's clear. To me, it looks comprehensive. Things always come up that you don't anticipate that, you then have to interpret sections of the handbook to cover. But I think that, I know there's a lot of work that was put into it. And having a good, very specific employee handbook is extremely helpful for all the parties involved. So I just want to congratulate those people who worked on it. I think it's an excellent document.
Any other comments, questions?
I would agree, and I know we spent quite a bit of time talking to them on dispute resolution, those type of things, as we were working with the union. And as I read through that, I think it hit on a good balance between keeping the employee and their immediate supervisor involved in the process, but yet give them several places to escalate it if they need to. And again, the hope is that we never get to that third and fourth level, but if we need to, it is there. And it was nice to read through that and have it make sense and meet most of the objectives I think that people were concerned about.
We've still got a hair tweaking, comma here, missed letter here. We're finding pieces, but the core of it is what we wanted it to be. And there's like a sentence or two that we're still going to reword a bit slightly. But yeah, as many versions we had of this to try and keep them all straight and keep them all correct, it was a little more difficult than we thought. And there's a few items that are kind of a casualty of that. And I appreciate council finding some of those. We just found one 20 minutes ago. Just you read it so many times, you think you'd have it, but you just can't pick up that one small piece because it makes sense in your head, but it didn't read that way on paper. So
But what
it'll
you're
be completed and finished by tomorrow.
But what you're saying is that those are editorial changes, basically,
100%.
not substantive.
Yep. Missed letter than versus that. It just, the gist of it is there. The exact letter wasn't. And again, it was, yeah.
No, I think it looks good. It's very user-friendly, regardless of whether it's management or employee. I especially like the Employee Management Liaison Committee. I think that'll be really a good thing to improve communication and help morale. And I think it's a good document. And there still is a typo at the top of page 14. Service, not serviced.
I still think I'm right on that. We'll talk after.
We can debate it after the meeting.
We'll talk after.
Maybe you should hire a newspaper to help with the editing.
That's okay. I think we're fine.
The teacher side of me just looks at some of those headers that like start at the bottom of the page.
Right.
And then actually continue.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I tried to get that adjusted too, and every time I'd reform it, it'd throw another one down there. We'll work on that still. We'll try and get that pretty, but.
Well, I appreciate the work, James, you and our new HR director put into that, and everyone that was associated with it. I think it was, I do have two comments. One, Ann touched on, I think that section 2.3 and 2.4, the Employee Management Committee, is a major step in the right direction for everyone. And then I did find one editing thing, section 6.1, general provisions, after resolution procedures, says something about 14, and there's no, whether it's seconds, days, or hours. And I'm assuming that it's days, so.
Depends on how severe it is. Want to leave it open. Months was the worst case, but I want to leave it kind of open. We'll make that correction.
14 years.
It may take some of that.
I see that, yeah.
Okay,
No, we'll find that and make that
very
change
good.
here.
Any other questions, comments?
Give us red pens when we get elected.
Just so we don't need.
Roll call vote, please.
Rafi?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Angus?
Yes.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Resolution 1819, adopting the updates for the City of Waverly Employee Handbook are carried. Next item is approval of a mayoral appointment. Last meeting, we gave Von Blunt a plaque of appreciation for his service on the Airport Commission. And Lee Hendricks has agreed to serve the balance of that term and see how it goes. And so I would, hopefully you will approve that. If any questions, comments? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks is approved as the newest member on the Airport Commission.
Yeah, that wasn't moved, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Move approval of the mayoral appointments.
I'll second that.
Now, I would note that Lee actually did attend this month's Airport Commission as a guest. So
I ran
ready to
in-
go.
Yeah, I ran into his wife yesterday, I believe, and she says he's chomping at the bit to get going. So, apologize for the lack of order in the motion. Reports from boards and commissions. Leisure Services Commission minutes, August 30th, 2018. Received into record. Monthly financials, August 2018. Received into record. Senior calendar, September 2018. Received into record. Staff comments.
I don't think we have any tonight, sir.
Okay. City council comments.
Let's see. So I have to ask questions about, on behalf of the Cedar Lane hole. For those of you who aren't active on Facebook, there is now a Facebook page for the Cedar Lane hole. I have to say I am pleased that it is lighthearted and fun rather than mean-spirited and angry. So there are lots of people who are having fun going and taking a selfie with the Cedar Lane hole, and people who are photoshopping cows and Michael Jackson and Jack Nicholson and various things into the Cedar Lane hole. It's all in good fun, but the question has been asked, when are we going to fill the Cedar Lane hole? Now, I realize we're not actually going to fill it because anything we filled it would simply just end up in the river after the next rainstorm. But as more, what's the timeline for getting for when we'll say goodbye to the Cedar Lane hole?
Well, the completion, it could not start before, what was it, September 10?
Right.
And it's got a completion date of mid-October because we have to be able to do some asphalt patching. So our fall asphalt patching, part of that contract will be to do the final street repair. So the window of opportunity for the contractor was from September 10 to mid-October. I know they're in the process of ordering pipe. There was a couple pieces that had to be custom made by the manufacturer. Takes a little bit of time, but I do expect them to be mobilizing very soon. If not this week, I think it will definitely be next week that they're having materials delivered and mobilizing and to begin the work.
So anyone who wants to have their selfie taken with the cedar hole should do it this week before they run out of their opportunity.
Sure.
The other question also for Mr. Cherry, what is the timing, what's the timeline on changing the timing for the street light at 10th Avenue and 4th Street Southeast? I know that there's plans to create a protected left turn.
Correct.
And when is that going to occur? Or
This year.
Okay.
If not this month, definitely in October.
Okay.
We have the approval now from the DOT to do the work. We're coordinating with Waverly Utilities to get the parts ordered and to schedule. There's a specialty company that will come in and help Waverly Utilities reset the timing. So should be fairly soon, within the next few weeks.
And I should once again invite anyone who wants to come with me for a post-city council meeting beverage. I'm planning on going to the beach house tonight.
Very good. Any other council comments?
Hope everyone will get out and enjoy Oktoberfest this weekend. Looks like it's going to be good weather, so that should be fun.
Should be fun. Anything else? I have a couple quick items. We've all been inundated with news from Hurricane Florence. Doesn't seem to be getting any better, but just keep those people in your thoughts and prayers, because Lord knows they need it, and every bit of help that we can figure out. Which brought up something as I was reading an article today. Do we have a list of available shelters in case of emergencies or tornadoes or something like that? I don't know whether it's in our emergency plans, if there's ever been one put together.
Yes, there's, I'm not sure the last time it was updated, but yes, we do have designated contacts for various shelters. Many of them are churches. There's also the Wartburg facilities, so we do know who to reach out to in the event of a crisis, but it is always good to make sure that we're regularly reviewing and updating those contacts.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mike.
Well, and I suppose one thing I'd like to follow up is, I seem to remember in the 2008 floods, one of the things that came up was that most of the emergency shelters are on one side of the river and not on the other. So when we're looking at those emergency shelters, it's important that we make sure that there are still facilities on both sides of the river.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has been addressed since 2008. Again, it depends on the type and length of sheltering that we need to do. Like with the 2008 flood, eventually there was a Red Cross shelter, and they're going to choose one location in town to do that.
Temporarily, though, we do have the Open Bible Church right
Yes.
here.
Right. I think before the 2008 flood, that had not been designated as an emergency site.
Just one of the things that I ran across and thought I would inquire about. I have no other comments. There's one item, communication about a 2018 goose harvest. Is that something that you need to address to us, Tab?
It's just the information for this year. We've been doing it for 15 or 20 years, I don't remember. And in 2004, the council said, just go ahead and keep doing it. So I just like to make sure that council's aware that we are continuing the program and the dates. And now I'll send it out to the DNR and local police and sheriff and the people that need to know about it.
Very good. Thank you. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned.